I gotta get up, I gotta get up, yeah, I gotta get up, I gotta get up. I gotta get up, I gotta get up, yeah, I gotta get up, I gotta get up. I gotta get up, I gotta get up, yeah, I gotta get up, I gotta get up. I gotta get up, I gotta get up, yeah, I gotta get up, I gotta get up. I gotta get up, I gotta get up, yeah, I gotta get up, I gotta get up.
Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Welcome back. It's your boy back in the studio, back in the seat. Y'all, it's a Sunday. And I got a lot going on up here in the brain, y'all. For real. Got a lot going on. And early this morning, I was listening to a YouTube video, and they were talking about the return of Christ, the great return and all of that. If you look at the title of this live feed, The Great Return or The Great Reveal. Now, I said last year that the year 2025 a lot will take in 2025. A lot will be exposed. A lot will be revealed. Okay. And not only do I believe that a lot will be revealed, but things that we already know. And I'm talking about those of you who have your third eye open, those of you who are consciously and spiritually awakened. But before I get into that, I want to ask a question. Why do you think that the mainstream popular media is pretty much waging a war on those who are awake? They are basically, they're coming against what they call the woke culture. Why do you think that is? And me personally, I don't believe that it's people who are being, who are woke or being awakened. I think it's, it has a lot to do with that, but I think that it has a lot to do with people tapping into their innermost conscious knowledge. Okay, people are tapping into the spiritual realm. People are elevating themselves to a higher state of consciousness. That's what I believe. And that's my understanding of being woke. You feel what I'm saying? Because you just don't get to this point by saying, that's what it is. That's what's, no. It's something that you have always known within your self, right? That's something that you have always known because you have always questioned things that's outside of your realm of normal thinking. You have always questioned everything because it was once told to me that the most dumbest answer that you can ever come up with comes from the question that you don't ask. You feel what I'm saying? And I just kind of like paraphrase that. But once you get to a level of understanding that everything that we have been taught, everything that we know based upon our own realm of thinking, and that we as humans, we as spiritual beings, we have to think outside of this box that we're in, outside of the matrix. We have to think beyond the realm of quote unquote normal consciousness, because there is a higher level of consciousness that we have to achieve. You feel what I'm saying? And by the way, y'all, go ahead and hit that like and share button, all right? And while you're at it, y'all, drop a comment, all right? Like, share, comment, and subscribe if it makes any sense. Of course it makes sense. Got to give shouts out to all of my hometown people in the burg, y'all. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Oh, yeah. I can't forget all about my peoples, who have supported me, not just financially, but they supported me on a spiritual level. Can't forget about you guys. Oh, yeah. But y'all, we're going to get into this video, y'all, and this is something that I want y'all to pay attention to this guy by the name of Chuck Swindoll Jr. Now, he's gonna talk about the God Eaters, the Khazar Mafia, and he's gonna tie all of this back to the top of the pyramid, so to speak. Now, if you're not familiar with Pastor Stephen Darby, he did a message on this some years ago about the top of the pyramid, and he was talking about that capstone on the back of the dollar. And a lot of people, want to say that the rabbit hole goes deeper, but I believe that the top goes higher than we know. All right, I want y'all to pay attention.
Till about 100 AD, which was the beginning of the formal Khazarian mafia, between the Caspian and that would be the Black Sea, just north of the Caucasus Mountains. And 100 AD really marks the beginning of their infiltration formally and organized into the West, into the organized West, and into what became of the groups that ended up ruling the world. And so, since that is a story in and of itself from about 100 AD, we're going to be covering the first part. Because to be honest, I haven't found any narratives that cover the origin and how this group came about. Found any essays, I haven't found anything that really digs into it. And the essay that I'm going to be using, which here, let me get the name of the gentleman who wrote it. Preston James and Mike Harris wrote an essay that's going to be carrying us from 100 AD to present day. But I haven't found any essays that cover from the origin of human beings until 100 AD that really do this group justice. And since this is our history, since this is the human history and origin, it matters. And so if you're looking for a 5-minute quick and dirty, I am not your guy. This is going to take probably, I'd say, about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get through this first part. And then the essay is probably going to be that again.
Now, I'm going to stop right there. In the Bible, they talk about the God of this world. All right. And you got to ask yourself, who is the God of this world? You know, a lot of people say Satan or Lucifer is the God of this world. And they talk, and he's going to go on, he's going to talk about, the fallen angels, the Anunnaki, all of this, right? The Elohim. According to ancient texts, even in the Bible, they refer to as God, the creator, being the Elohim. Now, if you go back in the book of Genesis, and when he said, let us make man in our image, right? And I want y'all to hold that thought right there. Let man in our image. Who is this our? Who is this us that they're talking about? Right? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. Who is this us? He's let us. He just said, I'm going to make man in my image, because we have been taught that we were made in the image of Christ, right? But when you go in the book of Genesis, he said, let us make man in our image. Who is this us that the Bible is talking about in the book of Genesis? Now, when you talk about the Elohim, a lot of Hebrews, they say the Most High, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yeshua, all of that. But when you get down to the bare meaning of it, you're talking about the Elohim. And some scholars believe that the Elohim was what we call the God of this world. That's why I asked the question, is this the great return or is it the great reveal? And some people say that, that they're returning. And my question is, did they even leave? They have been among us for centuries, for thousands of years, right in our face. And this is what Chuck Swindoll is going to pretty much relate to in this video. And I want y'all to really pay attention to, I think it's like the first 15, 20 minutes of this video, but I'm going to be cutting in and out of it so I can point out certain things or certain key points that's basically mentioned in the Bibles, that's mentioned in old Greek texts, old Hebrew texts, all of that. I'm going to point it out to you. Well, I'm going to do my best to point it out to you. So let's get into it, y'all.
And that's really going to be the only way, I feel, to communicate, to effectively communicate our history and why the world is the way that it is. And I think that's an awesome introduction into the titling of this, which is Why is the World the Way That It Is? I've named this essay
Khazarian Mafia, The God Eaters,
by Charles Regan Swindoll. And I'm starting with this nice quote from Aristotle. Nice doesn't do this quote justice. This awesome quote from Aristotle: knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. And that really is true. That's why Alan Watts spent his entire career asking the question, who are you? And that's why the Buddha spent his entire life pursuing the question of absolving suffering. And the way one absolves suffering is knowing who you are, knowing the divinity that you are, knowing the divinity that you reflect and come from and emanate. And the journey to that space is extremely varied, and so that at the end of the day, what matters is knowing who you are and finding that out, because no one can tell you. I can't tell you. Your pastor can't tell you. Your government official can't tell you. No book, no movie, no lecture is going to be able to tell you who you are. This is going to be a journey of self-discovery. That's how you find out who you are. And typically it comes through pain. I had an interesting dialogue with a friend on the internet, and she asked the question, is there any way to wisdom that doesn't involve pain? And I really sat and thought about it for a while, and I realized the stuff in my life that matters most cost me the most. There's a great Buddhist quote or Eastern quote that says, to know anything, I must lose everything. And that's been my experience. And I've found that the more that I have lost, the more that I have just set aside as not the answer, but just a part of the answer, the more I've been able to open my mind to a larger reality, a larger truth that is hearkening all of us, especially right now during the Great Awakening. And so I wanted to start this off with a good question, which is, who are you? And this essay is hopefully going to help you understand who you are. Okay, so getting right into it, what we're going to be talking about today is the Khazarian Mafia. And it's of my opinion that this group, as well as constellating groups around and about the Khazarian Mafia, are who have ruled the world since our inception. And I think that the human being, the human genome, is a multifaceted endeavor when you're attempting to know where and what and how we came about. And so it is quite a journey, because that true essence of us has really been hidden from us. And this group, the Khazarian Mafia, has worked very hard for us to not know who we are, because if we find out as a society, as the human collective, if we find out who we are, we will be unrulable, and we will think for ourselves, and we will develop for ourselves, and we won't be held back and shackled down by evil groups. And so the work of the Khazarian Mafia has been to suppress the knowledge of human beings, the history of human beings, the essence of human beings. And that really is what we're pursuing today, is our essence. And our history contains it, but they haven't want us to know it, because we become extremely powerful and an unstoppable force when we know who we are. Okay, so to begin, before we dive into the history of human beings, let's look very quickly at who, in my opinion, are the Khazarian Mafia. So I've developed this little slide here that shows a hierarchy. And at the top of the slide, what you're going to see is the top of the pyramid. The top of the hierarchy, and at the bottom of this slide is the bottom of the pyramid. And what this shows, what I'm hoping to do here, is to begin to open your eyes to a larger reality than the one that has been taught to you by about level 2 here, the entertainers, and 3, the low-level government officials and so forth. Those are the quote-unquote emissaries, the representatives of this evil group, but they present the world, this evil group, in such a way that you would never know that there are many layers below them or above them. So let's look at this. At the top, we have what in Gnosticism is called the Demiurge, Satan, Lucifer, Baal, Molech. These are anthropomorphisms of the evil that undergirds all of these groups. So at the very top of the pyramid is the ruler, overseer, the penultimate example of evil, which would be Satan. And so just below that are the fallen angels, watchers, archons, reptoids. It depends sort of what level you're at as far as what you know and understand about the world. But fallen angels, watchers, this comes out of the Book of Enoch. The Book of Enoch lays out the world in that there was a developing and thriving community history of human beings that was going on. And then there was a moment when that history, that ongoing saga was infiltrated by an outside group. And it just depends on where you come from on this planet to determine what the name of this group is. But the common names are the fallen angels, the watchers, the archons, and the reptoids. And the theory is that the watchers involved themselves with human women, bred with them, and the children that came out of those copulations were the Nephilim, the giants. And that's the next level down. Black nobility, Black Pope, Order of the Black Snake, Zoroastrian, and Nephilim bloodlines. Again, these are all hidden. These are not individuals, entities, groups that you would ever know about and you were to never know about. And these are what are behind the next level here, which is the Khazarian Mafia. And the Khazarian Mafia, really, there's a line that's drawn between those top three and the rest of the groups. And that is, this is when you begin to fall into categories of people that you know of, that you might have seen once or twice. The Jesuit Order, Babylonian, Canaanite bloodlines. This fills this next level, the Freemasons, Illuminati, Committee of 300, Club of Rome, Scottish Rite, CIA. The bloodlines of those groups are inside the Khazarian Mafia, Jesuit Order, Babylonian, Canaanite bloodlines. I know this is a mouthful, but our history is very involved. So this then would lead to the low-level government officials, judges, FBI, WHO, and DEA, supposedly the people that you vote into office, which we all know that you don't. But supposedly, these would be the common everyday people that you're seeing all the time. So you can see, by looking at this order, these groups, you could see we move from a totally invisible order to a fully visible order. And it shifts within these groups here in the middle. What's also interesting, Club of Rome, Scottish Rite, these groups require pedophilia to enter. What you're You're going to notice the common thread that comes out of these ancient orders of people, groups of people, is child sacrifice, blood sacrifice. And to be a part of these groups, you
Hey.